What pump should I get? Hey everyone, I'm Julie Matheny. I am a speech pathologist and international board certified lactation consultant. Today I want to talk about which pump should I get. There's so many pumps on the market and I get this question a lot of how should I pick my breast pump, which is the best pump for me. Well, before talking about breast pumps, we really need to talk about recommendations and how I, as a lactation consultant, make recommendations. In my mind, as a professional, there's 6 different kinds of recommendations. Recommendations to all, recommendations to most, recommendations to many, to some, to few, and to none. Now, in the terms of lactation recommendations, in reality, the 2 extremes, all and none, are very rare. Very rarely will I make a recommendation to all people, and very rarely will I make a recommendation that nobody should follow. So in terms of all, a recommendation that all people should do, all people should feed their baby. That's a recommendation all people should do. But how you do that falls into the other 4 categories of most, many, some, and few. Another one would be if breast milk is the goal, you should be moving the milk somehow, either to a baby or a pump. So all people where breast milk is the goal, all people should be moving milk somehow. But how they do that is going to have a range and a spectrum for how they do that. There's very few recommendations that I say no one should do this. Really, nobody should feel shame or guilt about how they choose to feed their baby. And that's pretty much the only recommendation that I will make in that category. So when we're talking about breast pumps, there is no one-size-fits-all breast pump. There is no pump that will work for all people. There is no recommendation out there. But we'll talk about pumps that most people can use, or that some people can use, or that few people can use. And conversely, there is no bad pump out there that nobody should use, because in reality, I have found someone out there that can use that pump. So when we're talking about pump recommendations, it's really in those 4 categories. Pumps that I feel most people can use, many people can use, some people can use, or few people can use. So think about that as we're navigating this, because pump technology is based off of how babies suck at the breast. They basically took science and technology and they studied how fast babies feed and how strong they suck, and they turn that into a machine. And it's why different machines, different pumps have different suck speeds and suck vacuums. There is no one way that all babies feed. Every baby will have a unique way of how fast they suck and how hard they suck based on their oral anatomy, if there's a tongue tie, if they're premature, if they're weak, and on their own mother's anatomy, how fast the letdown is, how full the supply is, how long they went between feeding and pumping. So there's a wide variety of how babies feed from the breast. So there is a wide variety of how pumps work to try to accommodate all of the different types of humans and how babies feed in the world. Okay, so there's my little spiel on the front end. So as we're going through this of different kinds of pumps, just keep in mind that I will never recommend a particular single pump to all people, because as of yet, there is no perfect pump, period. Okay, so when we're talking about best recommendations for pumps, the hospital grade, now that's a marketing term, there truly is no hospital grade pump, but hospital grade pumps mean that there's 2 motors where each motor pumps one side of the breast, one breast, right? So those are pumps that you don't have to plug off or cap off to have suction go to both sides. So on some pumps, if you have the tubing, one tube in and one out, you have to plug it or you won't get suction, because the suction, you have one motor that's pumping both breasts. True hospital grade pumps have 2 motors, one dedicated to each breast. They work independently. These hospital grade pumps are like your Medela Symphony. Amida has a hospital grade that you can only get in the hospital. There's a couple other pumps like that, right? Those are usually $1,200 to $1,500 pumps, and you would normally have to rent them directly from the company. Most people can't get one on their own. Now I have had patients that get those on their own. They have premature babies, they're exclusively pumping. Those pumps do a phenomenal job because they are workhorses. They have really big motors. They're usually huge pumps. They can pump They have a motor, one motor dedicated to each breast, so it has more oomph, more vacuum, and they tend to have a little more customizability for how strong the vacuum is, but not realistic for most people. So your second category are what I call primary pumps. These are pumps that are larger pumps. This is the Motif Luna. They are larger pumps that can either be battery operated because you charge them, or they plug into the wall. But they are fairly large pumps, so they're not portable pumps, which we'll talk about later. Primary pumps are your workhorse pumps. They are great for exclusive pumpers or people who are going back to work and need to pump multiple times a day. Because they are larger pumps, they hold bigger motors, so they have more drive, more motor strength, more power to really help efficiently move milk. And in the primary pump category, my favorite pumps are the Spectra S1 and S2. The Spectra Synergy Gold, although most people don't need the bells and whistles feature of that pump. That pump is awesome because you can actually have each breast be pumped at a different speed and vacuum at the same time. So you can be going womp, 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 womp. Most people don't need that. Most people need to be pumped at the same speed at the same time. But I have had people out there that do need different strengths or speeds at the same time to help them pump better. So of my top favorite primary pumps, really the Spectra S1 and S2 are at the top. The Unimom Opera is it's not that big. It's a little smaller than the Spectra, a little bit bigger than something like the portable pumps, which we'll talk about in a minute. But again, the Unimom Opera Plus is a phenomenal primary pump. It has a really good drive and motor in it, and a lot of my exclusive pumping moms have done really well on that pump. And then the Limerick Joy. The Limerick Joy is a really unique pump in that it has probably the most settings that I've ever seen on a pump. I believe it's like 80 different customizable combinations between how fast and how hard it sucks. It also does have technology that is truly the only one-size-fits-all flange. Like, it's not compatible with other flanges on the market. So that pump is a phenomenal pump, has really good strength and speed, but for really large nipples, I find it just doesn't work over 24 millimeters. But other than that, phenomenal pump. So those are my top pumps in the primary pump category. The other reason that I like those pumps is because you can change the flanges on and off to really get yourself the perfect fit. Again, that's the Spectra and the Unimom. The Limerick doesn't, but the other ones have customizable flanges. So the next category are portable pumps. Portable pumps are smaller pumps that are battery operated that you can walk around with that still have the traditional flanges with bottles. So these portable pumps still will have some kind of tube that connects to flanges, but like this one, this is the Zoomy. You can hang them around your neck. You can put them in a fanny pack. They're portable, meaning they are smaller pumps and you can move around with them. Now, my favorite portable pump is the Pumpables Genie Advanced. I've seen the most people do the best on that pump. Phenomenal little pump that really has a lot of bang for the buck. Followed by the Baby Buddha. Now, the Baby Buddha has a caution. If you have sensitive nipples, it is a strong pump. It has a really good pull and tug to it. So it is not good if you have sensitive nipples. But if your nipples aren't that sensitive and you need a little bit of extra sensitivity, stimulation to get your milk to flow, Baby Buddha is your go-to pump. And then finally, in the portable category, I really like the Freemie pumps. They're a much smaller little pump. They're kind of the original portable pump, and they have just a phenomenal long-standing reputation as being great little pumps, okay? And then in the final category, these are your wearable pumps. The wearables are discrete little pumps that sit inside the bra. You would never know that you're wearing them if you wear the right clothing, if you have a baggy sweater. I've had nurses that pump in the hospital with scrubs on and you can hardly tell. They do have different profiles and shapes. Wearable pumps are a tricky one. Wearables cannot replace portable or primary pumps for most people because the motor is so tiny that they tend to be not as efficient as your portable and primary pumps. They tend to leave milk behind, where you need to use them longer or more often to get the same amount of milk. But a lot of people like the wearable for on-the-go pumping. If they just need to get a quick pump in here or there, they can be really great. My favorite wearable pumps would be the Mom Cozy M5, which is my top right now, the Mom Cozy S12 Pro, and followed by that, the Amani is not a bad little pump, and then the Willow Go. I have heard that the Willow Go is their newest model, their newest product. It is better than the Willow 3.0 from what I've heard of all of my exclusive pumping moms who've tried them all. I tend to see the most damage and malfunction error, meaning it wasn't in the right spot and didn't pump well, with the LV wearables and with the original Willow. So those are kind of on my lowest of the low list. This again is the conversation. If you have one of those pumps and it's working for you, that's awesome. Again, those are the pumps. The pumps that I've just told you in the primary category are the pumps that I find most people can pump with. And the ones in the portable category are the ones that many to most can pump with. And in the wearable category, again, many people can pump with them, but it's never going to be all, and it will be more than none. So again, take these recommendations with a grain of salt of, in my professional experience, having seen hundreds of women now pump on these particular pumps compared to other ones on the market. These are the ones that I find tend to move milk most efficiently, cause the least amount of pain and damage. With that said, regardless of the pump that you pick, you need to have the correct size flange. We're not going to talk about that in this video. You can see any of my other videos for that, but having the right size flange is really essential. So now you know that is my short list. Primary pumps are, my favorite is the Spectra S1 or S2. Only difference is S1, the blue, is battery operated, and the S2, the pink, is plug-in only. My favorite portable is the Pumpables Genie Advanced, and my favorite wearable is the Mom Cozy M5. Obviously, I have a hit list of pumps, and I will go through my hit list in a different video for you sometime, but these are really my favorite pumps on the market that I find that many to most can pump with. You may have one of these pumps and be like, I don't know what she's talking about. I don't respond well to it. Sometimes it can be the flange size. Sometimes it can be that you need to actually decrease the suction. You're sucking and using the vacuum too hard, or playing around with the cycle speeds on that. And again, there is no one size fits all pump because every baby and every body respond uniquely. And technology is, we basically have a standard of how it works. And so you might not respond to every pump that's out there. So drop down in a comment the pump that you love, the pump that you found has worked best for you, and happy pumping. Now you know.